differently, in all the different places. So I just want to talk about that. I think it's a fun one to talk about. You can see kind of that Edna is enjoying the sunshine. We are still in Florida, soaking up them blue skies in February, which feels amazing. But let's get to it. To be fair, I have not driven in the Northeast yet, so I won't be commenting on the Northeast. But here's my summary of what I've learned so far on the road and being in different places all the time. So first, in the Pacific Northwest, Oregon, Washington, Idaho, that's what is considered the Pacific Northwest, I feel like yellow lights are really long. I mean, the color yellow is not really long, but it's kind of like when it turns red, you need to sit for 3 more seconds before it's your turn, because the people that have just turned red are still going. They're still going. So when your light turns green, you need to wait, like an additional, count 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, and then you're probably safe to go. There's just really long yellow lights, but not really. In California drivers, I'm so sorry, you're some of the worst, but the reason is because you're terrified of the right lane. California drivers only recognize the left lane. It's like the right lane doesn't even exist. It's very strange. Like they pull into traffic and they just go straight to the left lane, and then even if they're slow, they stay in the left lane. Even if people are passing them on the right, they stay in the left lane. It's very odd. So that's interesting. Move over, California drivers. There are 2 lanes. The left one is just for passing. That brings me to the Midwest, where I actually feel like the Midwest are the drivers that follow the rules. Like, they know all the rules of the road and actually use them. In the Midwest, you drive in the right lane unless you're passing, and you go around the person and you get back in the right lane. In the Midwest, you use your blinker, to change lanes, to turn. Blinkers are used. So odd. What a concept. And so driving in the Midwest is very pleasant because the drivers are fabulous. Texas. So here's some interesting commentary about Texas and Texas drivers. Wow, I've never seen a motorhome towing a truck before. That's so interesting. Normally there's just little cars on the back. So in Texas, anyway, the roads are terrible. The roads are the absolute worst roads that I've ever been on were in Texas, especially for towing. They're narrow. My parents' motorhome is a big diesel pusher. It's 11 and a half feet wide. The lanes were not big enough. I could barely fit in the lane. A normal vehicle cannot fit in the lane, hardly. So that was really frustrating. Also, the infrastructure in Texas is very poorly built. The city planners are awful. Sorry, you all suck. When you exit, and your exit is 235A and 241C, it's very confusing. It's the same exit for 2 different exit numbers. And then there's always construction, and so half of the exits that are double exits are broken anyway. It's ridiculous. Driving in Texas is the absolute worst. It's so bad. But that doesn't speak to the drivers in Texas. So I feel like because of the poor quality of roads, it has made the drivers exceptionally courteous. I can't believe I'm saying this. Texas drivers were so courteous as we were going through. We literally went from the middle lane to the right lane in bumper-to-bumper traffic, and then realized, oh shoot, it's a left exit, had to cross 3 lanes of traffic in like a quarter mile in, like, I don't know, I think that was maybe in Austin or Houston, I can't remember. And all the drivers, I put my blinker on, I slowed way down, like I did all the things that I need to do, and all the drivers were like, oh, come on over, like, even though I went the wrong way and then the right way. They were so kind and just let me do what I needed to do and let me in at 60 feet long in the middle of bumper-to-bumper traffic. So courteous, very courteous drivers. And that's not the only thing, you know, that's one example. But I think it's because the roads are so terrible that they're like, oh, we all have to deal with these really bad roads. Let's help each other out. I don't know. It seems odd, but there's some psychology happening there, I think. Let's see, we're in Florida now, and what I've noticed in Florida so far about Florida drivers is that it's every man for themselves. Like, I don't care what you're doing, I'm just gonna do what I'm gonna do, and if it's the law, it's fine, if it's not the law, it's fine. Like, I'm gonna do whatever I need to do. Like, every man for themselves. It doesn't matter how it affects other people. I'm turning right here, right now. Doesn't matter. I'm gonna merge right now. You know, it's very individualistic here in Florida. Everybody's just sort of doing their own thing, irrelevant of how it affects other people, which I find infuriating, to be honest. Where else? I feel like South Dakota and kind of that area up there, the central north, felt like very kind of, normal drivers. Oh, I know, Colorado. In Colorado, red does not mean stop. Because similar to Oregon, like, if the light turns red, you still have to wait 3 seconds at least, because people seem to think that they can still go. We lived there for 7 years. We lived in Colorado, and that I remember being something that I was like asking about and commenting about when we first moved there. Like, why are people not stopping when it's red? I don't understand. And I was told by the locals that had the natives, you know, that had grown up there, that it's because when the road ices, you can't like just stop. You kind of need to keep going so that you don't have an accident. And I just never in the 7 years of living there ever experienced a time where I was driving so fast on ice that I couldn't stop. It just was so strange. So people in Colorado and people in the Pacific Northwest are like, yellow, orange, red, it all blends together. I'll just, you know, get a little extension on my deadline of driving on this road. Make everybody else around me wait. It's fine. Don't worry about it. I will say that, you know, I think when you think about your hometown, a lot of times people, especially traveling people, like, have maybe not the best memories of their hometown or the best commentary about their hometown. But I will tell you that my hometown of Sierra Vista, Arizona, now that I have moved away and not lived there for, goodness, 14 years, but I have been back almost every year to visit family. I can say with confidence that the absolute worst drivers in this country are in Sierra Vista, Arizona. They are the slowest drivers I've ever encountered. There is no blinker fluid in the entire city. I don't know, like, nobody can find blinker fluid anywhere. It's shocking. You have to import it from out of the county or something. The absolute worst drivers. So what's the opposite of courteous? Selfish. So oblivious to people around them and the law and the rules. So anyway, that's kind of my breakdown. I have been surprised actually in Florida. The speed limit is a suggestion, which we hear a lot as a trope in terms of like, in California, the speed limit is merely a suggestion. You can go as fast as you want. But it's the opposite here in Florida. I've noticed that people are doing 5 under or the speed limit. And as a person who drives probably faster than I should, I feel self-conscious passing people while towing 10,000 pounds down the road. So I'm trying to be mindful and safe, but also 5 over is the standard. Floridians, get with it. I don't know, maybe it's because everybody's retired here and just chilling. I'm trying to get somewhere, So that's my take. I don't know. That's been my experience. I'm sure everybody's had different experiences. Driving in Texas was the worst place I've ever driven, but not because of the drivers, definitely because of the infrastructure. So drop me a comment. Tell me, where's the worst place that you've driven? What do you think about your hometown drivers? Is it, pretty okay? Or are they the worst drivers ever? All right, have a good day, y'all. Thanks for coming to Road Ramblings.